Thank you all. I'm amazed at how well I can lie to myself when I really want to. Because up till around a week ago, I said, I don't have a story to tell about being scared to death. I got nothing. Then around a week ago, I was tossing in bed early in the morning, and I said, oh, wait a minute. There's a pretty bad day, I remember. On September 11th, 2001, I was headed to Manhattan for a client meeting. Right? I had to go up to visit a client, and I was on the Amtrak train. I was meeting a friend in Trenton. And when we got to Trenton, we were going to get on the path line and go to the World Trade Center. When I was on my train ride, I got there, got off my train. I know where I'm supposed to meet Troy, and he's not there. And I'm a little bit mad because I don't want to be late for a client meeting. So I watched two PATH trains pass me by, and I'm getting madder and madder. And finally, I give up on him. I say, you know what, he can find his own way, make his own excuse. I'm not going to be late for a client meeting. And I get on the next PATH train that comes. And when the door's shut, the guy says, something about an airplane just hit one of the towers. And I'm thinking, and he said it was an accident. And I picture a small plane, and I'm thinking, boy, that'd be hard to do, because as big as those things are, the blue space around it's a lot bigger. It'd be easier to miss it than to hit it. So I'm a little confused, but we keep going. We get around 3 stops up, and we get to Journal Square, and they announce that no more trains are going to the World Trade Center, and if you want to go to Manhattan, get off and get to the 23rd Street line. Well, now I'm really mad because I'm going to be late, and I don't like being late for client meetings at all. But I get off and I start walking to the other train station, the other platform, and this guy comes running around the corner and says, I just watched a second plane crash right to the other tower. And at this point, I know it's not a good day, right? And I think what Shakespeare once said, discretion is the better part of valor, and what he really meant is sometimes you ought to just run away, right? And that's what I did. I said, no, I'm getting out of here. So I turned back and got on the platform to get back to Newark, and I got on the PATH train, and it's moving eerily, slowly, and we're watching smoke coming off the buildings. 2 guys next to me both worked in the building, and they were talking about, boy, I'm glad I was late for work today, and watching this unfold slowly. Right before we get back into Newark, the only way I can describe it is like a really cool magic trick. This brown cloud of smoke went on the South Tower, and as the smoke settled, nothing was left. And it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I watched the 2 guys next to me convince each other that the South Tower is just on the other side of the North Tower now, even though we were well south of where Manhattan is, and believing it, right? And I'm thinking, wow, they can lie to themselves really well too when they want to. But I get off, and I, as quickly as I can, get on an Amtrak train back to Philadelphia. And that may have been the scariest part of my day, because not many people had cell phone reception. I couldn't call my wife to tell her I was okay, but rumors were circulating up and down the train. We knew the Pentagon had been hit. We heard there was a plane that hit the White House lawn. We knew there's one in Pennsylvania. We heard the Sears Tower had been hit. We heard there were 6 more unaccounted planes. And we were sitting on the train thinking we were next, and it was a bad, bad feeling. We got back to Philadelphia to give you an idea how bad. We all went running out of the station. I went to where the cars were parked. And I was in the 4th car from paying the toll guy to leave. And the big truck right in front of me was honking his horn as the person at the front paid, honking his horn as the second person paid. And when the gate went back down, he crashed right through it and raced away. And I understood where he was coming from, because I was that scared too. I stopped and threw a $20 bill out the window and kept going. I never looked back again, right? Went home, saw a little bit of TV. Couldn't keep that on, and I called my wife, and I said, I'm going to go to Valley Forge, and I'm just going to walk around. Ironically, I went to a place called Mount Misery, which is my favorite place to walk, right? And I was walking on this trail by myself, second time over the mountain, and this is where my day gets scarier, right? I'm near the waterfall, walking by myself, and I look ahead, maybe 50 yards, there's a woman walking with, I don't know, a boxer or a Great Dane, something big, scary. And she let it off its leash, because she didn't see me, and the dog did. And the dog is running at me full force barking, and I'm in my second flight or fight situation of the day. For some reason, flight is not what I want to do this time. And I run at this dog with my fist cocked, making this primal screaming noise. And the dog stopped it, and he cocked his head real quick, the way you see a dog do sometimes. And then he turned around and ran. He didn't walk. He ran back behind its owner. And I kept I was shaking. The adrenaline was going all the way. And as I got close to her, she made some sort of apology, right? She said, if I'd seen you there, I wouldn't have taken him off his leash, something to that effect. But at that point, I wanted nothing to do with anything. And just very curtly, very coldly, I said, bad day. And I kept walking. What I realized around a week ago, when I finally realized, you know what, you do have a story where you were scared to death, was what I should have said to that woman. And I should have told her, right now, I'm scared to death, right? I'm scared to live in a world where hatred can knock down tall buildings. I'm scared that I can't call my wife and tell her I'm okay. I'm scared that the rational move seemed to be to run over the toll gate and race away. I'm scared that there's tens of thousands of people who would trade me my today for theirs in a heartbeat, because mine was a lot better than theirs. And the last thing I would have said is, and it would have sounded ironic, is I'm also scared of big dogs, right? But today everything's all right, so thank you.